I'm Tony from Bonner's Music, and this is my buyer's guide to the brand new NORD Grand Stage Piano. Now you can come and see this piano in our stores. We have one in Eastbourne on the south coast and another one in Reigate in Surrey, just off of junction 8 of the M25 motorway. And by the end of 2019, we're going to have a new store which is right in central England, close to the motorway network. So you can come and see a huge range of keyboards, digital pianos and acoustic pianos, all under one roof, right in the centre of the UK. So it'll kind of open it up to a lot more people to come and try these instruments before you buy, just to make sure you're making the right decision when you're buying a new piano. So let's quickly talk about what the NORD Grand actually is. This takes the technology that's found in the existing NORD piano keyboard one step further. The NORD piano still exists in the range, but this has come in as a flagship instrument above the NORD piano, and it has some quite distinctive advantages. First of all, it has a new keyboard action, which has been made by Kawai. If you haven't heard of Kawai, they're a big Japanese piano manufacturer. They've been making acoustic pianos for over 90 years, and they've been making digital pianos for 30 or 40 years now. And Kawai makes some of the best keyboard actions in the world, there's no doubt about it. And this is a collaboration between Kawai and NORD, and I just have a little sample here of the actual keyboard which you'll find inside the NORD Grand. Now, this is called Kawai's Real Hammer Action, or RH Action, and it has slightly textured key surfaces. So the keys themselves, it is what they call an ivory feel, or synthetic ivory key surface, so clip whilst you're playing. And I must say, it feels really nice to play. It's a plastic keyboard action, and the only keyboard action you'll find that feels any better than this is actually Kawai's RM3 action, which is their wooden hammer. That's their long stick wooden hammer action with the balance pin in the middle of the key, just like you get on an acoustic piano. However, that keyboard is very, very heavy. You'll find it in Kawai's MP11 SE stage piano, but it does make a very heavy instrument. So NORD still wanted to keep this instrument lightweight. It's only 20 kilograms. That's only 2 kilograms more than the standard NORD piano, so it's still quite easy to move this around if you need to. And it uses this great keyboard action that, to me, feels that it's the best keyboard action you'll find apart from the wooden key action that you'll find in the bigger Kawai instruments. It's a triple sensor action, and what that means is that it's got sensors that are sensing the velocity and the pressure that you're putting on the key as it goes down, but it also has a sensor on the hammer. If you just take a look underneath here, there's a hammer that comes up when I press the key. The hammer movement is being tracked by the sensors as well. So this mixed with the sound of the NORD piano samples makes for a really nice playing experience. So let's just take a listen to the very first piano sound that comes on when you switch on the NORD Grand, and that's the sound of the Royal Grand 3D. So as you can hear, it's such a stunning, stunning piano sound. The connection between the keys and the beautiful sound of the NORD piano samples just works really well. And it's not often that you find an instrument that is just an extension of how you're feeling. So you feel a real connection between the instrument and what you're feeling and what you're playing. And that to me is a sign of a truly great instrument. And you can just be so creative with it. And yeah, the NORD Grand, it just is a lovely instrument to play. So like I say, well worth coming in and trying this in one of our stores. So there's a great selection of piano sounds. If we just look at the front panel, you choose your piano sounds on the far left over here. I've got the grand piano category selected, and you get a choice of lots of different types of grand pianos. Now, as I said earlier, you can actually download more sounds from the nordkeyboards.com website. And there's an area of memory inside the NORD Grand, which is actually double the size of the memory that you'll find in a standard NORD piano. And you can download new sounds and additional sounds from the nordkeyboards.com website, and it's very, very easy to do. You literally just download them into your computer, connect the keyboard with a USB cable, and the software that NORD give you free of charge sees the keyboard straight away, and you literally drag and drop the sounds you want into your keyboard. Now, before I started doing this video, before I started recording, I downloaded the sound of the new NORD White Grand, it's called. It's a new piano sample that they've launched at the same time as the NORD Grand. I've installed it into this instrument, and just take a listen, especially the clarity at the top end. It really is beautiful. So I can honestly say that that piano sound is one of the best piano samples I've ever heard. And it's coming from a hardware keyboard. It just sounds great and feels great, especially that bottom end. You can kind of hear all the overtones and resonances happening, and it's just such a warm sound. And at the top end, as you could hear, really sparkles as well. So a truly excellent quality piano sound combined with a great keyboard action just makes for a really good playing experience. So as well as grand pianos, you have upright pianos, you've got classic electric pianos as well. So the sound of, for instance, the Fender Rhodes. So what I'm doing here is I'm just playing sounds with no effects on at the moment. So none of those acoustic piano sounds I played had any effects on at all. So what I'm going to do now is just play the electric piano, which is a Fender Rhodes sound with no effects at all. So So that's your standard Rhodes piano sound. Now, very often with a Fender Rhodes, you'd have a separate amplifier on the floor that you'd be plugging it into. And you have on the NORD Grand the amp simulator. So I'm going to switch that on, and you can choose from a whole host of different types of amplifiers to make the Fender Rhodes sound authentic how it used to in the 1970s and 80s. So I'm going to select one of the amplifiers here, and then you can also add distortion. Just using the knob here, you can add a little bit of overdrive or distortion to the sound. So let's just take a listen to that. So this is the Rhodes with a little bit of distortion. So as you can hear, it just gives it that little bit of extra bite, a little bit more aggressive sound, but a great sound. Now, what you can also do is add some chorus or any other modulation effect you like to the sound. So here I have some chorus. Now, in addition to 2 effects units which give you things like tremolo and phasing, chorus and those kinds of effects, there is also an EQ effect which is in the piano section over here. And back in the 1970s there was a classic electric piano tone which was known as the dyno electric piano, and it was a sound that was achieved by putting your Fender Rhodes through an EQ effect which was known as a dyno EQ effect, and Stevie Wonder and Chaka Khan were famous for using this, and it makes a really distinctive kind of percussive electric piano sound. So let's just turn off all the effects and let's just take a listen to the standard electric piano again, which is this sound. Now I'm going to play the same thing and turn on the dyno effect. Here we go. So as you can hear, it's a more percussive sound, a slightly brighter sound, and it's almost like playing a different instrument. It's the same electric piano sound, but through that EQ, it just sounds great. So I'm going to add the chorus onto that as well. So it gives it a completely different tone and character, and that's just using one electric piano sound. And there's a whole host of different electric pianos in there. You've even got the sound of the Yamaha DX7, which is this kind of sound. And you can also, if you want to, just add some reverb quite easily. Turn on the reverb control here. You've got a knob here to control the amount of reverb. So So no matter what the keyboard sound you're playing, the NORD Grand just delivers a really great, excellent high quality sound with a lot of presence. So if you're using this on stage, then you're not going to get lost in the mix. It really is a good solid sound. Another sound which is very popular and NORD are very good at producing is the sound of the clav. So that's this kind of funky. And you've got different types of clavinets in there. So and you can also add the effects to the clav sound. So I'm going to switch on the effects section 1 and choose the auto wah. And of course you could still put that through the amp simulator if you want to get a bit of overdrive. So it just sounds so good. You also have next to the piano section the sample synth section. So I can switch that on. I've turned off the piano section and I get the sound. I've got a string sound in there. That's what comes on as default. Now you've got a little bit of control over the sounds as well, so I can change the decay or the sustains. And there are lots and lots of sounds in there. You just go through them using this list knob here, and you've got the category select as well there. So lots and lots of sounds, but what you can actually do is mix those sounds together with the piano section. So I could switch on my string sound. And I've also got the piano sound switched on as well, so I can change the level of the strings so they just accompany the piano nicely. So you've got the strings and the piano mix, and there's hundreds of synth pads, synth leads, there's brass sounds, there's all sorts in there, but again you can download more from the nordkeyboards.com website, so you can tailor the Nord Grand to have the sound set that you need for the music you're playing. As we move along the panel, we have of course the display screen in the middle, so anything that you do on here, any changes you make to the sounds, you can store that as a sound so you can recall it instantly on stage. There's a very powerful EQ section here, so if you need to boost the top end a bit to cut through a bit more on stage, then you can do that. So all in all, the Nord Grand is a really, really good sounding piano. I would say come and try it if you're going to